Here is what became of the stars of the film Titanic 25 years after its release. You know this face very well. You have seen it in several films because this actress is one of the most famous figures in the cinema. Franz Fisher began her career in 1983, before becoming famous and known thanks to Titanic. Since the outcry that the film caused, Fisher has been in other successful films such as The Roommate, The Host, Laws of Attraction, The Kingdom, or more recently, Awake. But where you might have first seen her is in the company of the Sublime Rose in Titanic, where she played Ruth DeWitt Bucketer, the heroine's mother and corporate matron. She beautifully interpreted the role of this bourgeois lady going through a financial crisis and forcing her daughter to get engaged to one of the biggest businessmen in America. It is necessary to believe that although she interpreted her role to perfection, because believe me, she annoyed more than one with her obstinacy to want to marry her daughter for a money story. Anyway, after the Titanic blockbuster, Franz Fisher has not been idle and has done several other works that have made her one of the best British actresses. Otherwise, if we can envy her for one thing, it is that these 25 years past, we can hardly see them on her physique. Franz Fisher is still as fresh and dapper as she was at the time of Titanic. Admit it, she made you fall in love with this little girl with fleshy and rosy cheeks that you wanted so much to take in arms. For those who don't recognize her because she had a secondary role in the movie, Cora Cartmel is the little girl traveling in third class with her mother and father. It was she who danced with Leonardo Dicaprio during the evening. She was very close to the actor during the shooting because she says that he was very nice to her. This little girl's real name is Alexandra Owens. She was 9 years old at the time. Today she is 33. And look at what she has become. You will not believe your eyes. She has kept the same features but has blossomed more. After her stint in Titanic, Alexandra Catherine Owens Sarno auditioned for other film roles knowing that the role of Cora would take her far in her career. Even as a child, she was recognized on the street, asked to sign autographs, and was in high demand, so much so that it scared her into taking a break from acting. However, she kept in touch with her fans by mail throughout the years. After college, Alexandra Owens moved to Los Angeles and enrolled in acting classes. And one wonders why. No one could have played the role of Cora Cartmel better. Today, the young woman works in improvisation and sketch comedy. Victor Garber, aka Thomas Andrews, one of the most sympathetic and respectable faces of the film Titanic. This handsome Canadian actor played one of the most touching roles in the film, the naval architect who is first seen in a restaurant with Joseph Bruce Ismay, with whom he talks about the merits of building the Titanic. Later, we find him violently reproaching the second officer, Charles Lightoller, for launching half-full boats. And that's when we realize that he is a good man. But where he manages to touch everyone without exception is the moment when we see him in the smoking room watching the painting The Port of Plymouth waiting for its end like everyone else, and where he apologizes to Rose. Note that he is the only one to do so. That's what makes him so respected by everyone, even by us. Victor Garber is now 73 years old and has since appeared in countless successful works in both film and television, in dramas and comedies. He has also received several nominations and awards, including Best Supporting Actor in Drama Series as Jack Bristow in Alias and Best Supporting Actor at the 29th Saturn Awards. No one else could have embodied the role of elderly Rose DeWitt Bucketer better than Gloria Stewart. She was a bit of a grandmother to all of us in this film, since we all had a lot of tenderness and affection for this lady who lived a great drama in her life. Gloria Stewart, a great figure of American cinema, was 87 years old at the time of the release of the film. Her career in the American cinema was already boring because she was so successful. Thanks to her role as Rose DeWitt, she received a nomination for Best Supporting Actress at the Academy Awards. She reappeared on the screen after Titanic in the series Arabesque in 2001 and Land of Plenty in 2004. In 2000, the star bears her name in the famous Walk of Fame in Hollywood. In 2010, the director James Cameron paid tribute to her at the celebration of his 100th birthday and presents her as the Rose of Titanic. Gloria Stewart died shortly after in Los Angeles, following a lung cancer diagnosed 5 years earlier. Her partners in the film says that she embodied strength both on and off the screen. She was sweet, fantastic, and a real fighter. She took her final bow at the age of 100, 13 years after the release of Titanic. He is one of the greatest figures of Hollywood cinema, but also one of the four roles of Titanic. Leonardo Dicaprio doesn't need to be introduced anymore, and he doesn't need to be talked about because he's doing very well in the court. But we will highlight some of his successes after Titanic, which was for him a great turning point in his career, since the film propelled him to the rank of global star to the point that he is requested by the greatest directors. Danny Boyle hired him in The Beach in 2000. Steven Spielberg asked him for Catch Me If You Can in 2003. Sam Mendes put him alongside Kate Winslet in The Rebellious Wedding in 2008. Christopher Nolan invited him to play in Inception in 2010. Even Clint Eastwood and Quentin Tarantino call on his wonderful acting talents. Gradually, he detaches himself from his image of romantic hero to take on more serious roles. We will find him in Gangs of New York, Aviator, The Departed, Shutter Island, and in the success The Wall of Wall Street in 2013. He received several Oscar nominations and was crowned Best Actor at the 88th Academy Awards in 2016. At the same time, the actor is involved in politics by financially supporting presidential campaigns and becomes an icon of ecology and sustainable development. He will even try his hand at production and screenwriting, which he is also very good at. Otherwise, we notice the 25 years on his physique, only he is more beautiful and sexier than when he played the fierce teenager on the liner. We couldn't imagine the Titanic without him. Billy Zane, also known as Caledon Huckley, the famous businessman we were telling you about earlier, the man madly in love with Rose, whom Rose found repulsive, as evidenced by the spit she so poetically administered to him at the end of the film. But Billy Zane, on the other hand, had a hard time getting off the ground professionally, despite the immense success and the exceptional box office records and awards that the film garnered. After Titanic, Billy Zane, despite his beautiful dark eyes and his charm, will struggle to find major roles in the cinema and will be satisfied with minor roles in films released directly on video. Too bad for him. On the other hand, he did not remain empty-handed, since in 1998, he received the award for Best Supporting Actor at the Blockbuster Entertainment Awards for Titanic, and in 2000, the award for Best Actor at the B-Series Film Festival for I Woke Up Early the Day I Died. That's something. That face that everyone loves, the radiant smile, that excellent American actress who played the sympathetic Molly Brown in Titanic. How can you not love her? Since 1997, Kathy Bates has had a phenomenal and dazzling career and keeps climbing the ladder. She has become a sure thing in Hollywood. We saw her in great roles such as in American Outlaws, About Schmidt, Around the World in 80 Days, The Bridge of St. Louis Ray in 2004, in P.S. I Love You, in Revolutionary Road next to her illustrious companions Winslet and Dicaprio, or in Midnight in Paris by Woody Allen. In 2003, she experienced health problems by being diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and in 2012, breast cancer. It seems that health-wise, she's not so lucky. But Kathy is back in force on stage to lend her features to multiply characters in the horror anthology series American Horror Story or an Apocalypse, where she plays the role of Miriam Mead. As for her awards and nominations, it's impossible to list them all, but one thing is for sure. Today, the 74-year-old actress is by far one of the best actresses that Hollywood has ever known. He may not have found the diamond, but success has. Bill Paxton confirms a film career that began quite early, playing an underwater explorer in Titanic. Since this film, where he also knows a great success thanks to his role, Bill Paxton does not delay to return to the screens. We find him among others in A Simple Plan, Mighty Joe Young, in Vertical Limit, in Frailty, Spy Kids 2 and 3, Ghosts of the Abyss, Resistance, Two Guns, Edge of Tomorrow, Night Call, $1 Million Arm, in Term Life, Mean Dreams, in The Circle, and in many other works on television. But his career came to a screaming halt in 2017 when he died at the age of 61. He had just undergone a few weeks earlier a heart surgery to treat a damaged valve due to a rheumatic fever contracted during his youth. His last appearance in front of the camera was posthumously in the film The Circle by James Ponsoldt. Well, it's true that if we show him like this, you won't recognize him, because he changed between the time he took this picture and when he played in Titanic. David Warner, aka Spicer Lovejoy, who was not so much coiled as he was on the opponents of the Jack Rose couple. Caledon Huckley's valet went a bit too far, working as detective for Pinkerton and doing everything to separate Jack from Rose. Well, we still felt sorry for him when, before the end of the film, he died when the ship broke in two. After the success of Titanic, the British actor, who was 56 years old, had a short career. He lent his voice in several works, including a game and an animated series. We find him playing Professor Abraham Van Helsing in Penny Dreadful in 2014, and then the role of Admiral Boom in the musical film The Return of Mary Poppins in 2018. Unfortunately, the actor died in July 2022 at 80 years, following a long battle with a disease. We will not lie, we all knew Kate Winslet thanks to Titanic, and she embodied so well the role of Rose DeWitt that we had a hard time to pick up and get used to see her in other works in the cinema. Contrary to what you may think, Kate Winslet began her career long before Titanic, in 1991 on British television and then on film in 1994 in Heavenly Creatures. It is only later that she gained recognition for her interpretation in Sense and Sensibility, and especially in Titanic, the latter earning her worldwide acclaim and propelling her to the rank of world star when she was only 22 years old. There is no need to list all the films in which she shone after Titanic and all the awards she received, because it is almost impossible. Since 2000, Kate Winslet, the actress, has been nominated for several awards for her magnificent performances in films such as Quilts, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Neverland, The Reader and Revolutionary Road, and many others. At a young age, Kate Winslet received 6 Academy Awards nominations, won the Oscar for Best Actress for her role in The Reader, and received dozens of awards, including Emmy Awards and an honorary César for her entire career. On the physical side, 25 years later, Kate Winslet is still as fresh and sublime. Now tell us in the comments how you find these stars of Titanic 25 years later. Don't forget to subscribe and click here to watch another of our videos.